I think we're horny and traumatized.
Horny and traumatized.
Yeah, I think which is natural. Needing sex is very natural. But because we're traumatized and because we're coming from spaces where we don't fully understand like the magnitude and consequences of sex and sexual relationships, we're ready to settle for anything as long as we cure this horniness. So if I can get rid of the horniness, I can deal with the anxiety later. But you see, it's a loop. And this doesn't just show up in your sexual relationship. All these things are always intertwined. The things you settle for in sex, you will see them showing up in your relationships at work, in your business, in your money. If you're careless sexually, how am I going to trust you when it comes to doing business together? People like me, those are things I look at. I can never do business with a promiscuous person. Never. Never. Haujali juu ya makende yako, business yetu ndo uteka effort.
Oh my God.
Z. A man who doesn't care about his balls, that one I fear. But if you see someone is disciplined, even in the way they lead their sexual lives, and discipline doesn't mean you don't have to be promiscuous. Maybe you're using condoms. Maybe you get checked regularly. You go to the hospital. For whatever reason you're sleeping around, that's your business. But if I find out you're reckless, you have 8 baby mamas, I can't trust you with anything sorry, I can't trust you with anything we're discussing. Because of money. I can't. Because if you're reckless with your body, imagine your body, the one thing that, the vessel that you're like, we're supposed to trust is going to keep you healthy for you to even show up for this business. You don't care about it. How will you care about what the work we're putting into the business that we're doing? So I think, I was going to say, I don't support any form of casual relationships unless there is a clear stream of communication and friendship. If you guys can actually be friends, and I don't mean that you be in each other's lives or be in love or whatever, just your clear discussion of, I'm pregnant. What do we do? Si ati saa atakukatia tenje, azime simu apote forever.
Kukatiwa tenje ni nini?
Anakukatia simu. Tenje ni nangos. Simu. Tenje ni simu. Unaambia mtu uko na ball, anakuambia mimi nikwambia ushike ball. That's not what we were doing here. We were just having casual sex. Yeah. Remove na yeye ana pesa, ako broke, uko broke. But you see, when someone has empathy, if they're your friend, the least they could do is just support you emotionally, even if they're broke. You can go to them and say, hey, this is what has happened. I'm pregnant. Let's talk about this. He'll say, okay, enye msupa sina do, but, I'll be here for you.
There are so many women that gets themselves caught up in the headlights. Like, you are being left with so much baggage behind for just something that took very, very little time.
She didn't even orgasm. Getting pregnant ya sex yenye imekupea. Imagine you get pregnant, upate happies, na hata uko orgasm, na ili last 45 seconds.
There is no sex that lasts 45 seconds. But there is a guy who told me that there are some women, you see their mapajas and you are out.
Yeah. There's nothing wrong with coming fast.
There is nothing wrong with it?
I mean, it's natural. It happens.
Yeah.
You see, the thing is, easy discussions are sex. Ndo maana tunafaa tuzihave. Kuna hizi notions pia zenye lazima to debunk. Kama ati if he comes fast, it means he hasn't had sex in a long time. Ama it means I'm sexy sana. If he takes a long time to come, it means he wasn't enjoying. He doesn't like me. We need men telling us these stories so that we're not guessing or we're not jijaziaing these things. Because if we don't know, and how are we going to find out? That's why we need to have these discussions. And I think these things are normal. Sometimes we shame
These
men.
discussions, a lot of people do not like them, and they find them. They say in our comments that they are vulgar. That they actually say that you've got a degree in vulgarity.
But you see, would you rather we shut up and then we start shaming men? He's just a 1-minute man. He's just maybe there's reasons behind it. Maybe he's on medication for depression.
If you are on medication for depression, you last longer. You don't.
It could affect you anyway, and not just depression, different types of medication. Even women, we were laughing hapa nje jana with Feli, and we're talking about birth control. And I was telling you about how when I get on birth control, I literally hate men. I don't like breathing near men, smelling men. I don't like being around men, and that's why I had to get off birth control and strictly remain with condoms, because I see how it affects you. So different medication affects you differently sexually. It was affecting my libido. I was never ever horny. So I could have a boyfriend and he's seeing I'm not interested in him, but you see, it's the medication. It's not that I don't want him. So if you don't have clear discussions within whatever relationship, within whatever sexual relationship you're in, you can't enjoy the sex. Because how am I going to start telling a sneaky link? I don't like it when you nut in me. Easy pills zinani affect. Yeah, give a fuck. He's probably with his next girlfriend already. He doesn't care if I take a pill or not.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Doesn't want to pick your calls.
Well, how will he pick and he already nutted? He's already very satisfied.
Okay. I think we are...
Gero, do you live in Nairobi? If you ask people, how many people have used condoms here? Crickets. Crickets. People don't even use condoms. People are sleeping with even other people's husbands, other people's wives. Condom use is so, and now there's no, iyo support haiko venye ilikuanga kitambo. Unajua kitambo when there was more talks about HIV and AIDS, I think they were pushing more fear than education. I mean, the education came a bit later, but earlier they used to push fear. You know, if you catch AIDS, but squeezy hizo zimekuwa withdrawn. Squeezy, even the tone is different. Ukishika ukimwi ni kama malaria, unameza tu tembe, utakuwa sawa.
Oh my God.
So, you know, people don't have that fear. There's so much laxity when it comes to preventative measures.
This for sure that a lot of people, even your friends, are sleeping raw.
I actively work in the sex and relationship industry. So I see these statistics even of HIV and AIDS, even when we're attending these events for like National AIDS Council on World AIDS Day and stuff like that. HIV spreads crazy. And it's like this. It just needs one time. Yes, HIV is manageable. I'm not trying to spread fear, because people have HIV and AIDS and they are living and they're healthy and they look good and they're amazing. But that has made people become so much laxed. They're not fearful anymore. There's no fear in the media, you know. I'm not saying advocate for fear, but yani na mention tu ads za saizi kama venye zilikuwa kitambo. So saizi watu waogopi, wanakuona wewe unakaa hivyo pwana ati uko na HIV. Ai. Si tutameza tu dawa. Ni sawa.
All right.
Wase waogopi. Why does my earring keep coming off? Wase waogopi anymore. It's not as scary as it used to be. So, and not only that, the statistics keep tripling. Statistics for HIV,
really?
STIs. Yeah. They're so prevalent. It's so crazy. You'll find like, I don't want to botch the numbers, so I don't want to say for sure, but it's very, very prevalent. Saizi STIs ni kama...
I see that people can self-test these days in the house.
Yeah, for the HIV. I'm not sure about the STIs, but HIV, yes.
They buy from the supermarket or from the pharmacy?
Yeah, the testing kits. They're like 300 bob, I think. I think. They're not even expensive.
And how accurate is it? 70%?
Very accurate, actually. Yeah. I think it's actually good practice to keep them in the home, to keep pregnancy tests, HIV tests, and condoms in the home.
Why pregnancy tests? Test kits?
Because it's just good to know early. Especially if you're sexually active. It's just good to know early. If you have sex, I'd say for women, I think I'd advocate test at least once a month, or if you're actively having sex. Once a month, or...
With other links.
Whoever you're fucking, even if you're fucking somebody's husband, that's your business. But I'd advocate like test at least once every 2 months or once a month, so that you're able to jipanga. You can make decisions fast and easier than ufike 4 months na utaki umtoi. So I just think it's good hygiene. It's good hygiene to practice. And even to test yourself. Let me tell you, You know why the people who get tested most are women? Like when they say the statistics come out, I think yearly, according to World Health Organization, the HIV AIDS rates, and when they come, the women's numbers are usually higher.
For
If
those
you
that are
check,
infected.
yes, if you check, you'll always see the women are higher. But do you know why? Because the men don't go to get tested. Men don't go to the hospital to get tested at all. After if you tell a man that, Kwanza, today, let me push this to the audience. Today, go to your man and text him. No, tell him in his face. Just sit with him and tell him, babe, nimekuja na test kits nataka to test HIV. He'll tell you one of two things. He'll tell you, oh, wow, that's so, wow, how did you think of that? Okay, yeah, let's do it, But he might ask you questions, kushanga, mbono me bring up, but he'll be very open to. The other one will be, weenda utestiwe ukuje uniambie. We wakipata hauna, basi pia mi sina. You can tell me in the comments if I'm lying, but this is what they do.
Why do they do that?
They fear. Actually, most men, they wait to impregnate their women so that they can find out their HIV status. Because now when you start going for the prenatal
Wait, you
clinics,
need to say that properly. Men do what?
they wait to impregnate their woman. They impregnate a woman intentionally because they know getting a HIV test is going to be
Mandatory.
inevitable. Yes. Then they don't go with you, even for those prenatal whatevers. Ukiamba simnenda hata ukienda during pregnancy, a lot of women go through things like yeast infections, just different changes in the vagina, itchiness, dryness, anything could happen. Cysts, anything could happen. So if you go get tested for this sexual related stuff, they normally say come with your partner. Even if you're just itching, unaambiwango enda before tukwambie kitu yoyote, enda ulete mtu wako. If you go tell your man and he's adamant, you just know. First of all, you know he's sleeping around. That's a clear giveaway. Because someone who has nothing to hide, I think these tests are scary, but how else are you going to be able to show that you love yourself and you care for your body if you're not taking the active steps to make sure you're healthy? Because I would never have sex with someone if something is wrong with me. But people are not like that. You have to remember, people are coming from a scorned mentality. They're seeking
mentality?
vengeance. Someone can be
Scorned
given...
mentality?
Yeah.
What is a scorned mentality?
Amekasirishwa, akona hasira. So anakuja, mtu anaweza kuwa amefind out amepewa HIV. Lakini ajui ni na nani. Juu analala na watu wengi. So hayuko sure. So yeye anajiambia mimi nilipewa HIV na sijui. Pia mimi ndapea watu wengine. And they just continue spreading out of vengeance and anger. So many people do that. And they look healthy. They look very fine.
Wao wanapewa dawa. Wanakunywa dawa.
Apana. Sometimes they don't take when someone is in that state where they're ready to spread it, when you're taking medication, sometimes your CD4 count goes so low, so it cannot be detectable. So you can't even spread the HIV. But for someone to be spreading, they're not even ready to take medication. No, nimsi amesha resign to the fact that it's okay, I'm okay, I just want to die, so tukufe sisi wote. Then they spread. Some people don't know they have it. Even some of these diseases, sexually transmitted infections, sometimes you're a carrier, but your symptoms don't show. Or you don't, like herpes, you could go without getting an outbreak. You could go without, because herpes outbreak ukosiwa na nini. You could have herpes, but it doesn't show, it doesn't present itself. But then it can be triggered by things like change in environment, change in weather, stress, change in hormonal levels in your body. So once you have an outbreak, you're supposed to know, but people don't know. Sometimes it'll be like it'll even be on your hand, on your palms, on your neck, on your mgongo, but you think tu ni normal pimples unakuanga nazo. People don't go to get tested. They carry these diseases, they spread them. Things like human papilloma virus. This one is carried by men, spread to women, and it causes ovarian cancer. Cervical or ovarian, I forget. Vaginal cancers, kwa vulva, kwa vagina, hizo makansa tu zote. Na hii inatoka kwa men.
Why?
Because men are the ones who it doesn't present in them, but they carry the infection, the disease, and it's a virus. Unajua virus ni fore. It can't be healed. Now you just manage it. So tell me when you're going to tell your sneaky link to go get tested. When are you going to find him?
I think that's going to be tough.
Casual sex. How are you going to tell your friends with benefits that you want to go get tested?
So what is the difference? Now, I want to talk about something that is very important to me. For the last 15 years, I have been working on jobs online.